and my internet was not working well. So I don't know if that's going to be the case with this. Let me see. Let me see if this changes things. The internet's a bit sketchy. Okay, I haven't had any changes. I'm back on Wi-Fi. Okay. Test. Okay. Hey everyone. Welcome back. This is we've got our How I Survived the Cult. My name is Patricia. I am the leader for Harp and Bowl Intercession, where we believe that prayer to the God of the Bible works. We're based off of Revelation 5, verse 8, that talks about where the four living creatures worship God. And when they did, they poured out their bowls that was filled with incense. And those were the prayers of the saints. And so that's what we're founded off of, being those who intercede for one another, for whatever God assigns us to do. I did have to switch from, I was trying my webcam and I looked at it, the quality wasn't that great anyway. And so I think this is probably easier and better to just use my cell phone until I can get better equipment. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, for the future equipment. Okay, so let's start over. You guys, I have lived many lives, okay? My sister and I were talking and about the things that I've gone through. And so this is my opportunity on a public platform to talk about my experience from surviving a cult. I did make part one and part two, which were more foundational, that talked about how I got into it, which was in college. I had just gotten filled with the Holy Spirit. I got saved at 15, went through a deliverance session, and then got, was told what my purpose would be, what my calling was. I, alongside with my roommates at the time, who I'm not in connection with any of them, it's unfortunate. One of them did decide, and I think it's still connected to that cult and that person. I was serving underneath a woman who claimed to be an apostle, who in fact was a witch. 1000% hands down a witch. And her daughter, who we're going to discuss this issue that I had, was also a witch. And so I ended up just being exposed to some madness and some craziness. And so it led to me being at a place of insecurity, me struggling with trying to figure out who I am, because here I am trying to please this woman. We would meet at a hotel meeting, like a hotel meeting room, is where the church was being held. And there was no more than 10 people at the most when it came to church, right? So the members were only 10 people max. We never even went past that. Majority of it was all female, except one guy, one male, who I will make a story about that later on, how that one guy ended up marrying, becoming his wife, and it was a horrible situation. So if you ever have a chance to check my first two videos where I talk about the pastor that I ended up serving, who hated me. She hated me. She hated me. And then the second one was the monitoring spirit, which was the person that she put over me to lead me. That girl was a monitoring spirit through and through and through. It was a horrible encounter and a horrible experience that I had gone through, only to get kicked out. I got kicked out. It was wild. So anyway, today I'm talking about the fact that I ended up being stalked by her daughter. So, as I mentioned, the pastor, she did not like me. And I was trying so hard to please her. I couldn't figure it out. And I think it's because, so she was a heavier set woman. And my roommate, because I had two roommates, and all three of us were a part of that ministry here. One of them in particular that she took to was also a bigger female, right? So here I am. I've always been a small person. I've always been a person that's pretty petite. I come from a family of that. And I wasn't trying to show off or anything like that. And in college, I was cute. Okay. I was cute. Right now, I'm a little tired. I'm a mom. I need to take time for myself. But in college, here I am. I would wear a relaxer. My hair was really long. And I wasn't trying to show off or anything like that. Again, I was just trying to to please this woman, right? So anyway, so here I am. I don't know what I did to her to make her not like me, but she just did not. And so I would go through the process again. Her daughter would come and come every once in a while and visit the church. She wasn't a member, but she would come and visit. And when she would come, she would perform because she had CDs. She had, back in the day, I said CDs. Yeah, I'm aging myself here. But she would come to visit her mom and the members, right? And so we're gonna call this girl Starkeisha, okay? And Starkeisha, um, unfortunately, was also a person who had a lot of issues. She was a cutter. I don't know, can I say that on here? She harmed herself, okay? She was a person who had children very young as a teenager. And her mom would always tell us to pray for her, pray for Starkeisha, pray for, for her to be, give her life to Jesus. Starkeisha was also a person who would see psychics, right? So it was one of those things where she would go get her palm read, and this is all real life. She would go and see psychics, she would get her palm read, but she would still come and visit church every once in a while. So here's the pastor telling us, you guys please pray for my daughter, for her to come to Christ and give her life to Jesus. She needs to stop seeing these psychics. She needs to stop, trying to unalive herself because she had these huge scars. She needs to, really stop having children out of wedlock. She had 3 children, all, different fathers for each one of them. Just a lot, right? And so because I was trying to please this pastor, whenever her daughter would show up, I would go out of my way because I'm like, maybe if I win favor with her daughter, she would allow me to be able to come into the fold of whatever you want to call it, of welcome, not feeling rejected, essentially. In part 1, I talked about how I was this woman's housekeeper too. Okay. So I'm a college student, and this woman says, if you want to serve the Lord, you have to clean my house. My roommate, my roommate who she liked, was her cook. So one person is cooking, the other person is cleaning toilets. I was cleaning toilets. Horrible. So anyway, she lived with Starkeisha, so that was another opportunity for me to see her. So whenever I saw her, I would be like, hi, how's it going? But Starkeisha is a person who unfortunately had some sensitivities. I didn't recognize that, so I didn't think I would say anything that was offensive to her, right? One day she comes to church, and I don't even remember what I said to this woman. I think I complimented her. I said, "Oh, now I remember. I remember, guys. Okay." I said, "Your skin looks so good. It's clearing up nicely." She had acne. I had acne. I still do. I would have taken it as a compliment. She said, she was offended at the fact that I said that her skin looked good. Okay? The next thing I know, service is over. We come in for Bible study like a few days later. Because, like, let's say, for example, I don't remember what day it was on, but Bible study was like on Wednesday, right? I show up to the hotel because, again, we don't have our own church building. And I go to, what did I go do? I went to go use the restroom before setting up because I was also this woman's armor bearer as well. I go in and I see my name black marker written all over it, graffitied in the hotel bathroom, saying horrible things about me. Patricia is vile things. I'm gonna keep it clean, right? Patricia is this, Patricia is that, all over public, well, not well, the hotel bathroom. And I was just like, oh my gosh. At first I didn't recognize that it was about me until I saw my name. And it's in creepy handwriting. There were 2 to 3 stalls in that bathroom, and it's written all over the bathroom doors. And you know how the bathroom doors are, you go in and whatnot. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I knew immediately that this girl was talking about me. So here's the thing. Who I joined the cult with were my 2 former roommates, right? By that point, we had separated. We were still members of that place, but I had different roommates. I was living with 2 Jamaican women at the time who I enjoyed them as friends. I went to college with them, all the things. They were sisters, and here I am. But one of them was a little bit. She was okay. She was all right. Anyway, I'm being trashed, right? I'm shocked. I go to the front desk. I said, excuse me, someone has graffitied your women's restroom and it has my information on it. I I'm shocked and I'm also shaking here because I'm like wondering who, first of all, knows where I go to church. Second of all, who is this person that wrote this horrible stuff about me and why? What did I do that they would do something like this? Okay, they go in, they clean it up, they wipe it down, all the things. Next thing I know, and I'm gonna age myself here. We had MySpace then. I had a MySpace account. I look and on my MySpace profile, someone had taken my photo, my profile picture, right? And they created another profile and they called it Patricia Garbage. I had like my nickname on it was like Patricia something, at whatever at myspace.com. This person went and befriended some of the people that were my friends on my profile page. And when they did, they would talk so much trash about me. They would say horrible things. They were trying to become friends with all the people I was friends with. And my friends list was pretty open about, vile things again. They started talking about my family. She, because we know who it is now, was saying demonic things, okay? Demonic things about me. And here I am like, I can't escape this. This person showed up at my church. They graffitied the hotel bathroom walls, the bathroom doors. Now this person done took my profile and they took my photo and they've created this profile to get other people to follow them so that they can talk horrible things about me. I am still in the cult. I'm asking my pastor at the time. I said, "This is apostle. This is what's going on. I can't believe this. I'm being harassed. I don't know who this is who's doing this. Do you have any idea?" I'm asking my friends, like the women that were there, what's going on. Everyone's like, "We don't know. We don't know." That's awful. I'm sorry you're going through that. I couldn't sleep. I was tormented. I was tormented and I was sad. And I was just I could not figure this craziness out. It was just awful. So, um I ended up, because I thought it was one of the women at the church, excuse me, one of the women that I was living with, because the sister, the younger sister, her and I, we got along, but I think at one point we bumped heads. I can't remember what the situation was. I thought it was her. I thought she's the one that went and graffitied the bathroom. I thought she was the one who went and created this whole profile thing to just trash my name. So what did I do? Did I confront the girl? No, I went to the police. I went to the police and I said I wanted to report an incident. I wanted to report the matter because this happened to be the roommate that I was with. Actually, hold on. I take that back. I was with them, I was living with them, and then I ended up moving. Okay. So I ended up moving, getting my own place at that point because I was no longer with the roommates that we were living together with, and I was temporarily staying with this other person for, like, it was temporary in that it was a 1 year lease. Then after that, I go and get my own place. I get my own place, but I still went to the police about it. And I told them, I gave them the name of the person who I thought was the one who did this to me. Um, and the police said, "We can't really do much, but we can just call and tell them to stop harassing you." Something simple. I said, "Yes, please. Say something, do something, please." So the police called. I was still friends with the older sister because her and I were the ones who in particular went to the same college together. And she reaches out to me and says, "Hey, did you call the police on my, did you go to the police about my sister harassing you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know what she did. She's the one, it's your sister who's doing this." I'm accusing this woman. I never ask questions or anything. I just know that it is in fact you that's doing this to me. You're the one doing this to me because I just knew. And I was wrong, 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 wrong. Okay, so after that, it's not until I never found out during that time while I was still a part of that cult who did it at that moment. I never suspected that it was the pastor's daughter. Didn't think it was her at all. Never came to that conclusion. Matter of fact, one night when I went to go clean that woman's house, that pastor, I said to her, I can't believe this happened. She said, "Oh my God, who do you think it did this?" This girl was a psycho. She was psychotic because she played it off. in the way of like, I can't believe this did this. We got to figure this out. She's like, I can't believe this person did this. She kind of was trying to hold back her laugh, but also trying to show that she was shocked by this, all the things. And I said, yeah, I can't believe this. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm uncomfortable. This person knows where I go to church. This person knows where I live. This person found my profile. I can't believe this. Yada 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 yada. This woman stood there and act like it wasn't her the entire time. And she said, wow, you need to figure out who did this. Complete nut. Just a nut. Just nutty. Oh my gosh. Talking about it is wild too. Just a nut, right? And now, I pray that she did come to Christ. I pray that she did. So, anyway, going back, I'm still a part of that cult. I'm still a part of that church. Now we come to the point to where I'm dating the one gentleman that is a part of that place. Eventually we get kicked out. I talk about that in video number 2, and I'm going to talk more about that in detail later on. But I get kicked out. He gets kicked out. We are still dating each other. And while I'm still dating this man, now I've moved myself from MySpace, like I said, I'm dating myself here, to Facebook. All of a sudden I'm getting harassed. All of a sudden someone tries to befriend me with the profile name of Tiffany Woods, with a fake photo too. I could tell it wasn't even the girl. They had become friends with my friends, and now they were requesting friendship from me. And I don't know what exactly happened, how I figured out it was her, because I was no longer part of that church, so I was no longer talking to those people. I was no longer talking to the pastor or anything like that. But I realized, oh my gosh, because I saw what was interesting was that the same type of not handwriting, excuse me, the same type of font and typing, because they would write a certain way, like their sentences would be completely run on. They would write with no punctuation marks. They would misspell certain things that were the same way, like the first person who took my profile from MySpace would do. They would do the same thing. And I just knew that this person had followed me from one platform to the next, that this person did not have access to me any longer, and they were trying to get access, and they were looking to harass me once again. And by this point, I started doing some digging, started doing some research, and came upon that person who told you we're calling her Starkeisha. I found her blog, and on her blog, I don't know how this happened, but on her blog, I had found that the writing that she had was the same writing she was using to harass me. It was lacking punctuation marks. It was lacking period. It was just misspellings. It was just like someone who was not mentally well was writing this, and the patterns remained the same. So at this point, what did I do? I sent an email to her. Specifically, I sent an email to her and I said, I know it's you that's doing this. I am aware that you're the one harassing me, and I ask that you stop. Now, again, this was years ago, so I don't remember exactly the phrasing for it. I kept all the receipts at the time. I don't have it now, but I kept everything because I needed to show proof that I had found the person that was stalking me, that even when I was there, they were stalking me. And when I left, they were still trying to follow me and stalk me, and only for me to find out that it was her. When I sent that email to this girl, to Starkeisha, and I said, I need you to stop, leave me alone, all the things, this woman was so nasty. I don't know who you think you are. I don't know who you think you're talking to. You're messing with the wrong girl. You're messing with the wrong woman. First of all, before you even blah, 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 like mad aggressive and threatening on top of that. And I knew right then and there that that was her. I knew it was her. I 100% knew that this woman was the one for a few years who was stalking me and harassing me, and all because I told her that I thought her skin looked great, and she, her skin was clearing up nicely. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. It is so crazy and trashy. And she was just, I had such insecurity. I had such fear, because I'm like, this person could show up anywhere. They could do anything. Oh my God, they could harm me, because it's the truth. Some people are crazy, and she was a nut. She was a complete nut. And so not only did I escape that cult when I got kicked out, right? Like I talked about in the previous video, But on top of that, this woman, her daughter was crazy. Her daughter had demons. Her daughter wanted my life. And I realized that because, again, I'm in college, I'm cute, I'm just trying to live my life. I thought I was doing decently. Thought I was obeying God. I thought I was listening to the Lord. No, I was listening to a human person. I was in idolatry and I was listening to a human person who simply wanted to suck the life out of me because they hated me. So, who was this woman? This woman was a witch. She was a Jezebel. She was a person who wanted nothing but destruction for my life. She was a person whose daughter hated me. She was a person who wanted me to get permission to live my life, wanted me to get permission to ask to see my family, wanted to get permission on who I was going to date. You don't like me, but yet you want to control me. It was a very weird thing. And that is another one of those signs of how you know you were in a cult. Because not only that, one of the ways that I knew that I was in a cult and that place was a cursed place, aka the sunken place, was because of the fact that this place was unfruitful. Everybody got evicted out of there. Nobody could keep a place. Even the pastor got evicted. Like she couldn't even keep her housing. A cursed place. A cursed place. Um, and so when I tell you the way God delivered me and rescued me from that, from that quote church, which was not a church, she had us doing weird things. Our lives are not fruitful. I'm losing money. I'm losing housing. I'm being harassed. I'm being tormented. I am being rejected on top of that. And I'm with someone who he's not quality either. He was terrible, poor quality. Um, it was those things, and it took me a while to get rid of him too. So one day I'll talk about that, but it took me a while to get rid of that man. But little by little, things were coming off. Why? Because God had greater for me. Why? Because God wanted more for me. And the fact that He rescued me from these people who were functioning from high demonic covenants, who were in fact the witches themselves. I am so grateful. And I say that because I don't know if it was, like I said, it was three of us that went in there. One of us left before everybody else did. Eventually, I got kicked out, but I don't know what happened to that last girl, my last ex-friend. Oh, and that friend, she cussed me out. When I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, do you know who's doing this? Someone else is harassing me," because she promised that we would always be friends and cool and close. She turned on me. She turned on me because I left that place. And when I sent her at the time, copies, screenshots, photos of what was happening to me, she said, "I don't know, but honestly, it's well deserved." I couldn't believe it. This girl claimed that she was my best friend. We met each other in college on campus. And we unfortunately we joined that place, that cult. And here she is now telling me that what was happening to me was well deserved. What was happening to me was what I should get it because, and then she said, and frankly, we were not friends and we haven't been friends in a long time. I was so hurt, so broken up because I thought she was still my friend. First of all, she stopped being my friend a long time ago when she was there because she was chosen to be the person that was lauded and applauded and accepted and celebrated. I wasn't. That lady did not like me, right? But she loved her. And so here she is now, this ex-best friend of mine, who I thought was my best friend, is telling me how I deserve the stalking, how I deserve everything that's coming to me, everything that I got. And all I was asking, like, listen, this is happening. I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? And you just completely turn and do a 180 and you act like we were never friends. And that's how I should have known she was never my friend to begin with. And she was where she is now, wherever that is. I don't know, because I'm not going to be nobody's monitoring spirit and go looking for them online anyway. But it was like one thing after another. Here I am trying to recover. This girl doesn't want to be my friend anymore. I got kicked out of a cult. Now I'm dealing with this guy who claims to be the one that loves me, and he's trash. So tune in tomorrow for that situation about how trashy that man was. And I am still in recovery. Now I'm in counseling and finding out and learning that I was in a cult, and I'm in this cult with these witches and people who are monitoring spirits who are trying to keep an eye on me, and they also hate me and they want to destroy me. It don't get crazier than that. And that's what I was dealing with. So I thank God because God rescued me. I had made a decision that I was going to leave that place, that I was going to leave that cult, but I guess God knows his daughter, right? He knows his people. He knew that I eventually probably would have chickened out. I would have cowardly stayed. I became fearful of man, fearful of people, fearful of speaking up, and that I may not have ever left. I might have gotten wooed back. Who knows? But he made sure that I was never going to go back, and made sure that happened by having the leader remove me herself by telling me that I was not welcome there. And it was such a blessing. The level of deliverance I had to go through, the level of breaking covenants that I had to go through to come out of agreement with them, to realize that all of my tithes and all of my time and all of my money that I put into this place, my resources and my talents, that was ate up. It was eaten up. Literally, there's a scripture in, I think it's Deuteronomy, that says, "You will sow plenty and your enemy will eat it." That's what was happening to me. These people were my enemy and they were eating my seed. They were eating it. Why? Because I did not realize that I had made them God. I was not treating God as God, because if I did, I would have seen everything that was in front of me, that this wasn't the right place. Part of it was also because of naivety. So here I am, I'm 4 hours away from my family, and I connection's been cut off with them because I have to get permission to go see my family from her. And here I'm trying to just find some way to have someone pour into me who's older, who's lived a life. And this woman says I can do that. And she does it in an abusive manner. So I am in a toxic, abusive situation where I can't even go see my own family. And so those 4 years of my time there cost me so much. It cost me time with my dad, who unfortunately fortunately he's with the Lord, but he did pass away. Um, and time with my sister, time with my mom. Thankfully, I have a close relationship with him now because God is a redeemer and he will restore the time. But I think about how much I had lost by being in a cult and not realizing it, and not having the right guidance, the right help. And part of this was also the fact that I did not read my Bible. I was reading people and hoping that people would tell me who God is. You've got to learn who God is for yourself. And that's something now, um, in my big age, I am learning to do even more. I've always been a person that liked the Bible, but I never dived deep into it the way I should have. And now when I read it, I'm like, oh my God, how long has this been here? Was this always here? Are you kidding me? Finding out these stories in the Old Testament, reading about different things. Like, I was this years old when I found out that Jesus fed the masses more than once. They always talk about the 5 fishes and the 2 loaves. No, two loaves I'm mixing those two. You guys know what I mean. But anyway, the point is that happened more than once, where he fed 5,000. There's another story where he fed 4,000. But I did not know those things because I wasn't reading the Bible for myself to understand what God was saying, so that I would know who he is, so that I would know what love really looks like, even through man. And it did not look like abuse. It did not look like cleaning someone's toilet and telling me that if I don't do these things, my destiny will be aborted. It did not look like loving God, does not look like having to be walking in fear. He told us in his word that perfect love casts out fear, because fear has torment. I was getting tormented. I was being abused. And it's one of those things where you don't get physically abused, but this mental wearing. I was being stalked by a woman's daughter. They all were crazy. And I didn't know, because I just wanted God, or I thought I did. I wanted approval. I wanted acceptance. Probably because of my own personal issues that I had that I never dealt with before. So now here I am trying to heal, trying to grow from that, and ensure that I am doing everything he tells me to do so I can walk in obedience and hear God's voice, because I started being very insecure in hearing him for myself. And so I'm on this journey. I'm believing God to do great things. He is doing great things. One of the part of it is creating this channel called Harp and Intercession. And because I've always been a person that knows how to pray. That's just something, and I don't say that with arrogance. It's just I'm passionate about praying. I'm passionate about having communication with God. And that is something that was exploited at that place, because she saw the gifting that was on me. She saw the things that when I would pray, God would answer, right? And she wanted to use that and say, you're going to be my armor bearer, because God has called you to special ops, is what I was told. You're called to special ops. And that means God is going to use you for warfare and everything. And It is true, but she was operating from a familiar spirit, but I didn't know any of that. I didn't know. So I figured I was supposed to be her servant. And that's how she basically pushed it. And so I can't blame her completely. I fell into it. I fell into being monitored by monitoring spirit from the person underneath her. I talk about that in the other video as well. So catch that when you get a chance to. Um, just being kept under lock and key like it was a guard in a prison. Like, what in the world? Mm. So I hope that this bless you. I can just tell you, God is so good. And I didn't think I would ever see the light of day through that situation. I felt like I was crawling out of it. Like, am I ever going to come out of this painful? It was so painful. This painful place, this sunken place. And he did it. He did it to where now I feel free to talk about it and it doesn't bother me. Matter of fact, if they're watching it, God bless you wherever you are. God bless you. I pray your deliverance and true salvation in Jesus' name. But I hope that this is a blessing to you or whoever you are. Maybe if you have a story, share it, comment on it, and share this with others. And if you are new to the channel, feel free to go ahead and subscribe, like and subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.